16 of the fantasy basketball season. And here's a few centers I look to sell and trade this week. The first guy, Wendell Carter Jr., the Orlando Magic. So Wendell Carter, he's been playing good basketball this season here for this Magic team. After the Chicago Bulls traded him last year at the NBA trade deadline for Nikola Vukovic. So on the season here for Carter, 13.6 points a game, 10.3 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.2 threes a game, and 49% from the field. But the last couple weeks here, 16.4 points a game, 10.3 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 1 3 a game, and 53% from the field. So the last couple weeks here, he's playing over his head, and his value's at an all-time high as well here for Wendell Carter, because I think he's a good ball player, but I think he's only going to be a 15-10 guy, which is still pretty solid, but I think you could get out there and get more for him, especially now after the last few games. He's had blow-up ball games and putting up big numbers here for this Magic team. January 30th versus Dallas, 14 points, 14 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 2 threes, 50% from the field. February 1st at Chicago, 24 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, a 3, 73% from the field. And February 2nd at Indiana, 19 points, 18 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, a block, and 53% from the field. So I think Wendell Carter, you could package him with someone else of decency and definitely get a top 20, top 30 player in fantasy basketball this season, because this guy puts up numbers, no doubt about it, at averaging the 13 and 10 on the year. But there's going to be inconsistencies with him, especially with a team like the Magic. Let's be honest, they lose a lot of ball games where they get blown out and they bench the starters, obviously early, if they're down late in the third quarter by a big margin or whatever the case. So right now, over the last few games where he's been playing good basketball and the games have been a little closer, at least for the Magic, he's a guy I would put on my trade block and see what I could get for him, or package him, like I mentioned, for someone else for a top 20 or top 30 player this week. The next thing I would sell and trade this week's Kevin Love for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So Kevin Love, it's been a nice bounce-back season for him with this Cav team. After last year, he got into argument with teammates. His head wasn't into the game. But this year here, like I mentioned, a resurgence here, 14.3 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 2.5 threes a game, and 43% from the field here for Kevin Love. In the last couple weeks, 15.8 points a game, 9.5 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 2.5 threes a game, and 44% from the field. So he's scoring the basketball well. And right now his playing time's gone up as well. But once Lauri Markkanen gets back into the lineup, I think Kevin Love's minutes are going to go down, and obviously the production. But I right now would sell him high while he's been playing good over the last few games. January 30th at Detroit, 8.7 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 40% from the field. January 31st versus the Pelicans, 15 points, 11 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 3 threes, 40% from the field. And February 2nd at Houston, 21 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, a block, a 3, 40% from the field. So right here, he could shoot the basketball from 3. He could score and rebound, but still his field goal percentage ain't all that great. He's not really that good of a passer as he was back when he played with LeBron James early in his Cavs career, or even his Minnesota Timberwolves days here for Kevin Love. So right now, while he's playing good and he's playing good minutes, I would package him with someone else and try to get a top 40, 50 player in a deal. Because once Markkanen comes back and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen play those full minutes, he's definitely going to be a guy that's going to be limited on some nights here as Kevin Love, where he'll be inconsistent. But right now, while he's played great the 4 out of the last 5 games, you definitely use him as a sell-high candidate. And the third and final center I look to sell and trades Kristaps Porzingis of the Dallas Mavericks. So Porzingis, it's been a pretty decent season for him, but now he's banged up once again with a knee bruise, and he's going to miss tonight's ball game as well, which will be the 3rd game in a row that Porzingis is missing. At his size at 7'3", an injury career, he's just a guy I can't count on, especially this late into the season here, where we've seen him go down towards the end of the year, the last few seasons for this Mav team, and even going back to his New York Knicks days where he tore that ACL in a ball game. He missed a season and a half that year until he got traded to Dallas. So on the season for Porzingis, 19.2 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.7 blocks, and 1.4 threes a game from 45% from the field. But the last couple weeks here, the numbers have definitely dropped off. 13.8 points a game, 6.4 rebounds and assists, 1.2 threes, 2 blocks a game, and 42% from the field. So obviously that's not going to cut it here for Porzingis and fantasy owners. And right now, if I could just trade him for someone who's consistent and not injury prone and could score anywhere from 12 to 15 points a game, I really would consider it, because with his history, I just can't count on him. And the last few games before he went down, January 25th at the Warriors, 9.7 rebounds, an assist, a steal, 2 blocks, a 3, 26% from the field. January 26th at Portland, 22 points, 5 rebounds, an assist, a steal, a 3, 44% from the field. And the 29th versus the Pacers, 5 points, a rebound, and 40% from the field. Then he left the ball game with the knee injury. So right now, I can't count on Porzingis, and he's a guy I would sell off this week for anything of decency. So that's a few centers I look to sell and trade here for week 16 of the fantasy basketball season.